Good morning. Hello. Oh, I need some extra light. Hey, Margaret. Good morning. There we go. Cool. Hey, Tom. Good morning. All right. Cool, cool. All right. Move this real quickly. Cool, cool. All right. Hey, Debbie. Good morning. Yeah. So, good morning. Welcome to Mid Morning Medium Chat with Adam the Black Swan Medium. It is chilly. Holy smokes. What is going on this week? I think most of us can agree in a lot of the areas. Hey, Nikki, good morning. Uh, what has happened? you know, last Saturday, it was like 80 some degrees, and then the next day it drops significantly, and now we had like little bit of a warm up, and then now we're back to cold again. So it's getting ridiculous. I mean, I put a hoodie on. I mean, I haven't been wearing a hoodie, and now I am. So, but yeah, no, it's really uh it's just screwy. But what do we do? We just kind of have to ride through it. So hey, Sharon, good morning. Yeah, so and you know what? And at least a good cup of Joe to warm us up this evening, right? I even put my little hand warmers on thing. It's crazy. It's crazy. In fact, we had our heat turned. We had the heat off for a little bit, and then we turned it back on, but we kept it set really low. And then this morning, I'm just walking around going, I'm gonna be like, this is gonna be bad. So yeah, now I will admit that I am still wearing shorts, so I am still fighting it, but at least I'll keep part of me. Hey, Brittany, yeah, Debbie, bipolar, 100% sure. She's ridiculous. She's killing us. Ah, yes, warm. And what's funny is even the flavor that I had this morning is a pumpkin spice. So, it's got that fall feeling vibe going to it. But so that's okay. That's okay. But yeah, thanks for joining. Thanks for being here this morning. Always appreciate everybody waking up. I mean, I know it's not that early, but some people do like to sleep in on their weekends. I get that. Unfortunately, I wish I could. I just can't because my body's so in tune with this early morning stuff that it's been ridiculous, but that's okay. Even though, however, I mean, a few of the posts this week, you guys got a good taste of that. I was home Tuesday through Thursday. I was covering for my brother who had surgery, who does our main help desk for our job that we do. And so I got to stay home, so I didn't have to wake up at 3:30 in the morning. So that's always a plus. And yeah, basically, you got to roll out of bed and just turn the computers on, and then wait for 6 a.m. to start, and then log into the phones. So, but so it was a nice change of pace. My brother did well, which was always the concern. I mean, not that it wasn't in a danger or danger. I mean, it could, obviously anything can happen, but the surgery went really well. They had to repair some tears, clean out a little bit of cartilage stuff, so that was floating around. But yeah, he doing a lot better, and he actually wanted to work. I mean, he's been fortunate to where he's gotten to, for us, he's the only person that's gotten to stay home because we don't have permanent desk anymore because of the whole thing. They changed everything up, so they want it more like open. Hey, Tanya, good morning. And so yeah, he's been one of the few, one of the rare few to get to stay home and work. So yeah, it's nice for him, that he doesn't have to get up so early too, because we used to carpool all the time. So and now he doesn't have to, which is cool. Which is cool. But yeah, so I was covering for him, so that was a nice change of pace. It helped me out a lot. It's always nice, one to not wake up early, two not have to drive an hour and 10 minutes one way, because that's a long day, and I've mentioned it so many times, over the last couple of years and things. So it's never a complaint. It's just that's just the way it is. I deal with it, and obviously, if it was a really bad deal, I would switch it out, or move on. Which there's always those options. I keep my eyes open for things and stuff. Hey, Carrie, good morning. Debbie saying I actually just woke up myself instead of my normal 5 a.m. I was having so many. Debbie, that was interesting because I woke up a little early. I don't remember what time it was. It had to been well, it's ironic that it was probably like in the 2 or 3 a.m. range, and then I woke up briefly, and then I went right back to sleep. Luckily, but I went back into a dream, which was crazy, and it wasn't. Excuse me. I wish I could remember the dream. because it was interesting. It was nothing bad. It was just some cool things that were going on. So, it is what it is. I was so late, technically, that I wasn't going to remember much anyway, because then I would have had to put thought into it, which then I didn't really want to be up that early. I mean, who does? Right, Margaret. Yeah. Yep. So, but yeah, so decent week. I can't complain too much about that. Uh, you know, like I said, it was a change of pace. There was things that I got to chill out. I didn't have to worry about, like I said, and cutting the drive out is, already killer in that aspect because of having to get up so early just to make the drive. Hey, Jennifer, and then drive home. So I mean, it's brutal. It's simply brutal to basically between 220 and 2.5 hours of driving per day. It does get old. you know, it does get old. So, what are you going to do? So, hey, Becca, happy Saturday. Um, Margaret, no, I've only had just this one tonight or this morning, and it wasn't that weird. It was actually interesting from what I remember. Nothing crazy. It was kind of a fun dream. Um, I believe I knew several of the people that were in the dream, but now, like I said, I can't remember because it was so late. I just, as much as I like doing dream interpretations, I love it to no end. But even for me, it's like it's the same thing. It's like there's just times where the dream happens, and then in that case, I was so tired that all I thought about was sleep again, and got it. Hey, Chad, good morning. And so I went back to sleep, and that's all I can remember. Was just I remember it was okay. It was fun, nothing wild or weird or strange. Knew some people, and that's all I can remember of it. So cannot remember a single message that was going on there, but I know there was some. They were starting to pop in there, but I just that was it. I just woke up, and it kind of ruined it. So that's the way it goes. I mean, I can always ask for a dream to happen again, and it usually does. So the only thing that is long drive is good is for decompress. Well, true, Margaret. Yeah, I mean it does. If I didn't have to get up so early, where I'm not getting a lot of sleep, so I'm not well rested for the drives because I am dozing off, and I'm admitted that many times over. I'm dozing off driving to work, and I'm dozing off coming home. So, uh, you know, I've done so many different styles of techniques of staying awake. It is crazy, and some work for a while, and then they stop working, and then I have to find new things to do. Because like it's just wild, but that's just the way it is. So, um, let's see, Brittany, you would have a interpreting mind. Hey, Brittany, I mean, you send me. Main thing is what I always like to do. I mean, it's cool to do them in person, but if anybody wants me to go through their dream, best thing is to write it down, or message me. Really, that's what I'm saying is message me your dream, because it's kind of neat is that you also are documenting it at the same time for your sake, but also sometimes when you reread your message or your dream to me, you remember other things. So it's kind of a cool little thing. But truly, anybody that's watching today, or in the future, you watching this back, I mean, definitely send me a private message with some dreams. I mean, the more details you can remember, whether the backgrounds or if there's buildings and things. I mean, all that stuff matters and applies to it. And uh the more the better, because truly, as many little things that are in there all tie together and create that message that your guides and the greater good of the universe is trying to send to you. So yeah, um anybody that wants me to go through it, technically I'm not charging for them right now. But eventually at some point I will, because if it becomes a thing where it's a little bit more frequently, then yeah, I may ask for a couple bucks, or, some donation to kind of help that, because sometimes certain dreams that I have been given by people, they're extensive. And so it's a lot of my time of reading through it first and then going back, and then typically I go through line by line, literally line by line of what you write to me about each line and what it represents or what it could represent. It's one of the few times that I don't have to sit there and be connected to my guides. Once in a while, if I get stuck and I'm just not sure, then I will kind of bring them in real quickly. But it's one of the unique times that I get to I get to ask questions, so if I'm doing a reading or a healing to you guys, typically I don't ask for any information. The dreams I get to. It's one of those fun things I get to change it up a little bit and ask, things like, because it helps with the interpreting of the dream. It's not so much of just being all my guides saying it for me, and I'm just like that true medium, the middleman per se. But dreams, it's an interactive thing. So to have me read through it, and then, like I said, we go through it, and I'm asking questions, and that's what I usually do back, is I reply back to you, and then I will write, going line by line, and I will say, okay, this is what you said, or this is what you experienced, and then we go, and then I break it down with what I'm getting or what it means. So it's kind of a fun day, but like I said, I want to, eventually do that, is charged for those, because because again, if it's a quick little dream, it's not a big deal, but big long ones, which are packed with messages. Oh yeah. So, but like I said, that's kind of cool things that I'm working on. I did want to, so we had a couple cool things astrologically this week. So I think most of you are already going to know what I'm going to say. A couple days ago, we had the new moon, which is always fun. Brand new things on the horizons. That's usually the typical thing on a new moon. But then yesterday, lo and behold, what did we start? And we got to deal with this until the middle of May. I think it's the 14th, if I'm not mistaken. And I will confirm that. Yep. We started Mercury in retrograde. Yay! I could see everybody's jumping up and down for joy with this one. Cool, Brittany. Glad you made it. But yeah, Mercury in retrograde. Whoo! Interesting was, talking to a few people, especially like the new moon and stuff like that. They were, several people were having experiences, and even then some of them were asking me, well, how are you doing this week? I'm like, I'm okay. you know Shockingly enough, I think I'm just putting it out there for myself. I think maybe I'm going to be a little unfazed with this one this time. Not saying it doesn't mean it won't kick in at some point, but uh I will knock on wood, true wood, that I don't, that nothing does, get more intense for me, because it certainly could, but as I make a mess over here, I had to clean this desk up. I need a maid. But, yeah, no, it's interesting because I know we over the last several years, especially like when the, um, pandemic happened and we were home a lot more. It was always interesting to see messages, or when doing the live shows, or just seeing people post, on their own pages and not realizing things. It was always interesting how intense some of the Mercury retrogrades were, for them. And even though they may not understand it, especially ones that aren't really into the stuff that we all are, or at least are okay with, we're open enough to just listen to it and absorb it. Doesn't mean that you're 100% belief with it, but it is fascinating that, you can see differences in people during certain times. I mean, just like a full moon, I remember seeing, the other week I came across, I stumbled at it like on TikTok or something. And there was the nurse type of, guy. And he was talking about, like, some of the things that people don't realize, about them and their jobs and stuff. And the one I just happened to catch was when he was talking about a full moon. And he put some humor behind it, but it was hilarious. It's just like, don't, don't be saying things like if you come in or something like that and you say something about the full moon and stuff. And, and then he's like, and then all craziness happens. And he's like, he says him and all the other nurses are just like, they just want to beat people up, because as soon as they're like jinxing it, because like they just know things are going to be bad. So, Tom's saying the eclipsed energy drained me as it was pretty tense. Yeah, Tom, I know you were one of those that, you were pretty affected by it leading into it. So, and I think, if you look at it too, I mean, you had two things literally a day apart. You had new moon on Thursday, and then Mercury retrograde starting today, and both things just kind of do this little mishmash of stuff, you know what I mean? And so, you see bad moons are rising, I see a trouble in the way. I'm sure you do, Dad. I'm sure you do. Maybe you need to go to the bathroom for that. Ooh. I had to get him back, gang. I had to get him back. He's sitting there making comments. You guys can see it. I can throw some stingers back at him and not get in trouble. So, um, but yeah, no, I mean, and so depending on how you all were doing this week, obviously, look back, see what was going on towards the beginning of the week, see how your general feelings were, how were your relationships in the aspect of family, maybe you work with clients, customers, just the general public. Sometimes you can kind of tell what the moods and vibes are. Dad jokes. Dad got jokes today. Needed Brittany. He's loaded with them. Trust me. That's why he's in here for comic relief. He's not here for the conversations. Debbie, I believe, I saw some people posting stuff about an eclipse. Now, I don't know if that was visible for us here in North America or if that was other parts of the world, which does happen. There is a lot. I mean, I'm going to say it like this. There is more eclipses that do happen. There's just not always visible where we are. So I did see something, but I never looked to confirm it because I didn't see enough people locally, North America talking about it. So I think it may have been something visible in other countries. So, hey, Betsy, good morning. So, but I think, but Debbie, I think you're correct in that. I do believe, dad saying, don't go out tonight. It's bound to take your life. There's a bad moon on the rise. Right. Yeah. Um, no, it was an Australian. It was an ultra rare one, according to our weather guy. Okay, well, there you go. So Margaret actually, found out about it. Okay, so there you go. Like I said, I saw something, but I wasn't 100% sure. And even then, I know once in a while we do have a couple. Oh, Tom's confirming it too as well. Great, thank you guys. Once in a while I do have a couple Australian followers that do watch the show. It's like 1-2 a.m. of their time, technically tomorrow. So but yeah, sometimes they're on. Hey, Chris, good morning. And I, would love to. Yeah, I wish they were because then we could really truly ask them. But sometimes they make it, sometimes they don't. But like I said, it's like 2 a.m. in the morning their time tomorrow. So I get it. They're not, not always going to be on. And sometimes I know they do check it out later on. So, but yeah, no, it's cool. So yeah, interesting week from the stars perspective, you know what I mean? But that's why I said it. There's always something, and luckily, at least I knew that, the new moon, the Mercury. I kind of knew about those. Plus, just talking to a few more people, so it was on my radar a lot more. I did finally. I have in my phone's calendar, I have all the new and full moons placed for the rest of the year. And then I've also, a couple days ago, put in all of the Mercury retrogrades, when they start and when they end. So I'm well aware. I'm going to be on top of those. So that way, we can all prep together, because obviously it's going to be, they can be intense. And I think a lot of people know this. I mean, I've been through some rough Mercury retrogrades, and even then, some of the stars, and even then, Mercury retrograde is just one type of retrograde that's out there. Again, I'm not a pro at this stuff. I wish I could be, but there's so many other times where the other planets are in alignment, and it just really, still can kind of have goofy. Granted, it seems like Mercury retrograde is the one that lasts longer. It's always 2-3 weeks type of thing. So we just got to be aware of those. So that way we're just not, because even then, right now, even though we just crossed a new moon, it's usually a lot of new beginnings. You're building upon things like in your own personal life. Hey, Kate, good morning. Yeah, there you go. Last week has been really, yeah, and that's leading up. That just makes sense. And so, let's see, Ford stopped making Mercuries. Yeah, that's true, Dad. They did. I know I would know. I'm up there. So James Webb's telescope may have released new info that can throw everything we knew about the Big Bang and birth and Uranus out of the window. AKs are on their ears right now. Well, and that's the thing about it. Research, proof, evidence. I mean, all that stuff makes a big deal. And there's no doubt that history can rewrite itself multiple times over. There's so many, again, you guys, most of you have been well aware, that I have, Scandinavian Viking in me, and they're still learning things. Granted, there's going to be things they probably won't ever be able to know for sure, but even then, there's so many new things that have come up over the last couple years, and there's still brand new things that are they're waiting to release them that is shaking the whole knowledge of them and their existence and stuff. So, hey, Bonnie, good morning. So, it's not a bad thing. Sure, it changes everything you ever knew, and then you have to readjust to it. But yeah, it is really fascinating, and I encourage it. You know what I mean? Like, always be sure, be 100%. So, hey, Justin, there you go. There's the guy, guys. Um, there's the one that I've been talking about. I talked about earlier in the show, and then in my post Tuesday. So, that's the gimp right there. So, now see, I'll pick on him for a little, even though I don't need to. But that's gimpy. That's the man that's got his left leg all messed up. So, sorry, I'm gonna pick on him for a little bit because I can. It's like a hybrid, right? Um, and see, Margaret saying Bill Stevens said it was a hybrid solar eclipse that went from an annular to a total and back. Well, that's interesting, Margaret. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These things are always interesting and stuff. Debbie saying, I read something yesterday explaining we could actually use the retrograde to our benefit. Explain that it one tore things apart and built them back together. I'm going to do more research. Joe, you brought out the gift. Yep. And we're not going to reference that movie. That would be a bad image, Joe, because even then, just envisioning Justin like that, whoo, I'm babysitting by your brother's house this morning. There you go. So, oh man, that would be hilarious. Not unless you can black the sun out, right? Yeah. um, yeah, Debbie. Well, all these things, all of them, any astrological event does have benefits, pros and cons to everything. And so it's how you treat them, how you prepare for them, and how you are setting them up for success in the end. I mean, you're not looking obviously like my father wanting to win the lottery. So, you're not going to pray to the stars to give me the winning lottery numbers, and then he goes, plays them and wins. It's not going to happen like that. That's a whole different, aspect to that. He might as well use like black magic to do that stuff, because at least I'll have the bad stuff on his side. but uh, but yeah, all of them are set up that way. I mean, just like now, a lot of times with them, I mean, granted, new moon, okay, it's all about starting and creating things. However, now that we've started Mercury retrograde, we're supposed to tail it back. We're not supposed to start new things. We're not supposed to make big decisions right now. We're supposed to take it easy and reflect on what we are doing, what's going on, and just stick with what we have right now. For the next 2-3 weeks, it's not about changing things. It's about looking at yourself, taking it easy, relaxing. And doesn't mean you can't be thinking of the future. You just don't want to put any hard decisions on that stuff. So yeah, it's a cool time to do that, is to prepare for the future. I put my hands up and wore a hat. Does that count? Sure. That there you go. but yeah, so that's kind of fun stuff. So yeah, just be mindful right now. Obviously, don't do anything. I mean, of course, there's sometimes where you have to make big decisions right now, so it's not the end of the world. But just do what you can. If you can hold off on things, do it. Don't do anything, drastic right now. Hold up until the middle of May, So, what was the other thing? Oops. All right, I gotta find my notes again. Oh, well, yeah. Well, how did I forget this? This one's really easy. So basically the way this is going to work is I'm going to see Bonnie saying, kind of reflecting and thinking about what the next just going on with the flow. Right, Bonnie. Absolutely. Well said. Right. It is a lot of looking back at what you're doing, checking things out, kind of making sure that you are doing the right things. You've been doing and on your path for so long. And, it's a good time to just make sure, it's kind of like maintenance. You got to do maintenance to things or else it's going to break down. So you're kind of self-maintaining yourself at this point, which is maybe a good way to put it, check your oil, make sure your spark plugs, are all firing. Your cylinders are good to go. So it's tinfoil. That's true. Yeah, Debbie, he would need a tinfoil one. I had to get breakfast for your brother. Why I didn't tell you to do something early, right? So, um, but yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do the last little bit, which is also going to tie into the topic, which of course, it makes sense, and re- it does mean this back here. So, um, but yesterday, and it's a good thing that my brother and father are actually watching because it does kind of pertain to them as well. Because yesterday was the 11th, and I say 11 year anniversary of the very first ghost hunt we ever went on. And my brother and father were, two of the guys that went there. And so I'm not going to go into it deeply because I'm going to make you all watch the vlog, which I filmed yesterday. And I talk a little bit more, give a little bit more credit to my dad and brother a little bit. But I'm going to save it for them because this is, like I said, I just want to hit it, highlight it, and then we'll talk some paranormal stuff. But yes, it was yesterday was 11 years, the first time that happened. So like I said, I explained a few more things in the vlog. So when that comes out Wednesday, you guys can check that out. But so I didn't want to say the same things, two shows in a row. So yeah, it was amazing, and it's so weird to keep track of it, but I think at the same time, and one thing I will say that I say it time and time again on the vlog is that, it's truly changed my life. There was so many things that have gotten better because of it. And you wouldn't think that here it is, chasing ghosts and going after uh, you know, entities and things that you can't see, would be something life changing, but it is. And it was such an amazing night, and it really did. It opened up so many doors, and the rest has been history. I probably would not be doing this. This would not be a show. All of you, except for a few family members in the chat, would be the only ones that I'd probably still be talking to because I'm looking at just a few people recently. Bonnie, I would have never met if the paranormal wouldn't have started. Debbie, um, Margaret. Gosh, I'm just going to scroll back up a little bit. Chad, Kate. I mean, there's just a lot of these people that I would have never talked to. Betsy. So I'm just kind of Brittany. I mean, and there's probably some that aren't, even chiming in that don't usually do the, writing the chats and stuff. So there's a lot of you that would probably have never met if I didn't get into the paranormal. And it's weird. It's weird, but in a great way. And I really do. I really it all timed out the way it was supposed to. It was you just couldn't have. I mean, it was just so spot on, perfect timing for everything. I mean, hey Julie, and it's just one of those. Did we eat Chili's for dinner? I believe we did. I believe we did that day, that night. Yeah, and my dad. Yeah, I talk about it in the vlog, Dad. I talk about the photo. Well, probably not, Dad. I don't think I probably would have met you if it wasn't for ghost hunting. Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, that's like I said, it's just to sit here and realize that to even then to have, a side business to, do mediumship, because mediumship wouldn't have happened. I mean, like I said, when I've talked about it, when I've been on other shows before and been a guest, I have brought it up, I mean, but I don't know if I would have even touched mediumship. So I mean, doing that and then doing healing and expanding, doing card readings and doing dream interpret, I don't think any of that would have happened. And it's just like I said, it just so crazy to sit there and look back that 11 years just, I mean, it's almost like a 180 turn. I mean, not that my life was terrible before. I mean, it wasn't. But it's just funny how that was the right moment that it just exploded. And yes, it's been a great journey. And I've been on so many amazing investigations, and I've gotten to and I did mention this, so I'll say one more thing, but I've gotten to investigate with a lot of teams that I am, good friends with, so many of them, whether it's locally or whether it's a lot in Michigan. I mean, when I've been to other locations in other states, I've kind of jumped on with a few other partial teams that were investigating, where there's a couple team members, and it's like, hey, you want to yeah, let's go, so we're running around a place. So I mean, it was cool. I mean, and like I said, I wouldn't trade it, so I mean, it just all fell into place and stuff. So yeah, I mean, behind you looks vaguely familiar, doesn't it? Looks a little familiar, even though even though that is no longer saying that there. It does not say banquet hall. So this is how old that photo is, but old. See, I'm not good with weather here, so but that's still there. So, um, Debbie, I love it. Although the people I met since starting the paranormal room, I no longer the weirdest person in the room. Yeah, Debbie, that is true. That's true. You can go to a paranormal convention or any type of holistic event, and people do not give you a weird, what? Yeah, Justin, yeah, best 180 turn. Yeah, admitted, Adam. I opened up a can of. Well, I mean, like I said, that's why I talk about. I talk quickly about how you were the one that came home after a gig, and Sunday morning you couldn't wait to give me a call. So I will say that's all in the vlog. You can check that out Wednesday. But yeah, we're all brothers at the yeah. I mean, brothers, sisters. I mean, it's just it's been like I said, it's just been great. And so and like I said, I explained a little bit further. Hey, Veronica, there it is from the group. It's Spitzer House. Cool. That's awesome, Veronica. Um, uh, yeah, like I said, it's just been great. And there's so many more events that I haven't got a chance to get to, so there's just all that reflecting of things I still need to do and witness and be a part of and things. So hopefully, I'll be able to make those things happen. And, there's a few events that I can't make this year just because of other things that are scheduled, which sometimes is good and sometimes it's bad, and so that's why it's like there's certain events that it's like people are kind of shocked that I haven't been to, like Michigan Paracon. I've yet to step foot in there, and it's always timed out bad for me. And even knowing when it is, it's hard to pass up other events that come up. Sure, Michigan Paracon announces really quickly after they get done with it, when the next one is. And then before I make those decisions, I get scheduled for stuff. And a lot of it's like, well, it's hard I can sure go and have a great time and have fun, but I also can sit there and make some money. And I could sure use the money right now. So a lot of times that's what ends up happening. I kind of take over that, me doing what I do, doing my Black Swamp medium stuff. It's like if a gig happens or something goes on where I can make a few bucks, I'm going to choose that. And like I said, those Michigan Paragon is just one of those that just hasn't lined up, for me. And good, bad, the other, who knows? But eventually it will, and I will get up there. I know I will, and I can't wait. I've just heard too many things, and everybody I know has been there, so I'm kind of one of the last few. But I will. I definitely will make sure that that happens at some point, and it will. Yeah, Jay, we do got to get. I would love to do Gettysburg. I mean, I thought about making a mini trip there all the time to just go and hang out and just do the day stuff and then do a couple night things. But yeah, I mean, Gettysburg's been on my list for years now, and luckily, with being past the the craziness of the world we've experienced with certain things. It's nice to know that things have opened back up again and things are happening again. So Debbie's saying, I always buy my tickets for next year while I know. And Debbie, that's true. I mean, so many do because they lock it in, and that's awesome. Like I said, if I didn't have a whole lot else going on, I probably could do this. I'd do that. I could just buy them and get them ready in my pocket, but kind of leave that door open. So when I get into the new year and I start looking at the rest of the calendar year of what's going on, typically I start getting asked to do things. And so, which is it's a good problem to get booked on things. So it's just, like I said, I'm not upset over it. It doesn't, I shouldn't be. There's no way I shouldn't be upset that it doesn't work out. It's because why would it? Why should I let it bother me? Yes, I want to go, and I will. It's just, I'm not going to sit there and boo-hoo and cry over it because it's not worth it. So, but I will. Man, I might actually finish the coffee before 10:30. This is great. I get asked not to show up, but that's the thing. It's just being up that far into Michigan. I haven't been there. Traverse City is the only one. That's the farthest I've been in Michigan. So I need to get up a little bit further. I'd love to see the Mackinac Bridge with my own eyes, not through everybody else's photos. So yeah, as I said, there's a lot that I want to see, up that way. And especially that time of year. I mean, even though it's, towards the end of summer, August, but still it's perfect. And so, yeah. Oh, wow. it'll work out. I'm not worried about it because, like I said, it's gonna fall into place when it's supposed to. So, yeah, I know, right, Jen. Yeah, Megan already goes. Yeah, I've seen your photos going over. That's great. Yeah, I just don't want to go. I just hope it's not a time when I go, it's not super windy because I know that's always a problem. So you may fall down if you gaze at the bridge. I mean, you never know. I know, especially if I'm driving over and you're just forced to look over the side. Hello. So, um, you'll get there. Yeah, true. I will. But yeah, so before we run out of time, because I know I've kind of go to the island. Yeah, see, Kate, that's exactly it. I got to, I paid 3,000 leave the state for right. Yeah. See, but you're right. So yeah, I mean, I did obviously for a little bit. This was cool because of the anniversary, and then um uh stepping into, to talk a little bit of paranormal with everybody, because obviously that is a subject that we could go hours on. So, Joe saying I would like to go to Eastern State Penn in Philly. We've had a lot of cold spots in Philly. Yeah, Joe. I mean, you've been to some good. You've gone to a couple. So I mean, and you were just doing day tours. So imagine if you set that up at night. That's right. Well, Joe, shoot, I just realized. Yeah, I mean, if you guys we do have a couple publics at the old mill coming up. So I don't have those right. I don't know what they are off the top of my head. I think I don't know if there was one in May or if it was June. Shoot, I should have prepared. Joe, we do have a couple publics. So if you guys want to come up to the old mill, which I know you and Jamie made it to the Parafest, but if you want to guys come up and do a ghost hunt, we do have a public. We have a couple publics scheduled, so they're set. So I mean, I can let you know for sure after the show when I look it up. So, Chad, UP is amazing. Personally, I feel with that remoteness, paranormal has room to roam. Stories of deep dark woods are real. You find them, but right, Chad. Oh gosh, I mean, well, that's the thing is, and that's a perfect way to kind of tie into that. The what is paranormal? You know what I mean? What in fact, a couple of you have a I don't care, even if it's all of you, a few of you, in your shortest opinion, what is paranormal, or what does paranormal mean to you? So I said, whether it's a little bit or, don't go into a big, huge paragraph, but just in a few lines or something like that. Tell me, in your opinion, what paranormal means to you. Let's see. I should get you my video, Gettysburg. I got it right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Justin. I remember. You showed me it, so I have seen it. It's normal, and that's para. Well, that explains a lot. It would, yeah, Jen. I mean, I've only been there. I've been there twice, and it was for like real historical reasons. So I wasn't even there. I was there before I even really was serious about ghost hunting. I mean, the first time we were really young. My dad and mom and then took my brother and I. We always did over the summer. We always did trips, and so first time we were pretty young, but the second time we went as the movie came out earlier in the year, so we got to actually be there really close to the actual days of the real battle, and even got to meet a couple of the actors that were in it. Now they weren't the Martin Sheen and the Tom Berengers, but they were some of the other actors and stuff. But we did get to meet a few of them. It was really cool. So I mean, they came up to because we watched a lot of the reenactments that were outside of Gettysburg. They don't do them on the actual fields, and but we were on the outside. But that was really cool, is that even a couple of them would come up and we're meeting all the crowd and stuff like that. It was awesome. I mean, so yeah, I haven't been there for legit ghost hunting, but yeah, that's why it's on my list. So let's see. Margaret saying, okay, it's things that go beyond the normal range of senses. I like that. Kate, things that used to be here and no longer are physical way we are here. It's a science and logic. Can't explain it. Paranormal. I like it. Gettysburg has a sad, heavy feeling, and you're being watched. Though, yeah, Margaret, for sure. You and your brother also joined the Confederacy. That's true. We did. Well, yeah, you swerved off the road to go meet the Confederate soldiers. So, yeah, you never turned so fast on a main road into a business I've ever seen before. But I did wear my Union kepi hat, so that was hilarious. Yeah, keep it on. That was a whole hilarious moment. Betsy, pertaining to the spirit and any magical mystical creatures, Bigfoot, cryptids, the Fae. Yeah. No, and by the way, it's 1010. 1010, gang. put that in the chat. There you go. Got to call it out. But yeah, I mean, paranormal is definitely it is things that you can't explain truly. Now, I mean, we can look it up and get the actual definitions from the dictionary, the internet, which is the dictionary. It seems like nowadays, but right, it's just things that we can't explain. It's not the norm of what we're used to. Pretending, not pretending. You're good, Betsy. No worries. Um, we had several ghostly encounters. There you go, Chris. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you just never know. You never know, and when it's the right time, the right moment, and that's the thing about paranormal. I mean, you just can't pinpoint it. You don't know. It's not like, I mean, you can well, that's the thing is you can kind of look at us. You can look at us living human beings, or even, but even animals and things. We have routines, we have things that we do, but we also can change things just as much as a spirit, a ghost, depending on what your favorite term for it is. But we're all unpredictable. We truly are, not only in this life, but when we cross over, we're unpredictable in some aspects. Because again, why is it that, we could go to places that we don't suspect has activity, but yet discover it or feel that, experience that, and I think that's the kind of skill. I checked the definition of parent on the WebMD. I'm sorry, y'all. It's not good. Jed. I bet. I bet. 'Cause I am sure it's probably ridiculous. Most of that, some of those are like real bad, but that's why I said we could go there, but that's why it's better for us to talk about it, because nobody's truly wrong here. We all have our opinions on it, and I think that's the best thing, because it means a little something different to all of us. However, in the end, we're all still pretty much the same. But yeah, I mean, it is things that are unusual, and you know, you can't let a lot of skeptics, not that skeptics are wrong. I definitely am skeptical at times. I can be pretty hard, especially nowadays, being 11 years of doing this actively. I, have seen so much evidence, whether it was good and whether it was horrible. And I do say horrible in a very in big word. I'm not going to say bad. I'm talking true outright horrible. Now, bad part about it is, it is difficult. And there's so many arguments, so many fights, so many just issues, on social media when it comes to this. And it's ridiculous we're not helping if we're going to sit there and continue to argue. Now, when I've seen horrible evidence, I try in a way to get them to see what they have a little bit differently. I have learned my lesson years ago. I remember it was like, clearly it was just not what it was, clearly. And I said, no, this is really like this. And I gave examples and I mentioned it. And then I just got bashed left and right. And I'm like, wow, you know, okay, it is what it is. And so nowadays I don't usually get into too much of it. So I will gladly look at anybody's photos, videos, whatever, and I will gladly look over it. But that's the thing is, when you do this enough and you've seen as much as I've seen, and because of the fact of our team, SWPI, Spirit World Paranormal Investigations, hosting public and private investigations at the old mill, I have, I see stuff so much. And, you can clearly tell when something's good and when something's not. And yes, technology nowadays is good in some ways and bad in the others. And as bad is like where you have people doctoring up the photos and videos, and it's terrible. And I hate that. And it shouldn't be that way. I understand you got egos, some of you, not saying you guys that are watching, but I'm talking about the others that are out there. They just want to feel good about themselves. They want to have like the best evidence. And the problem is you're going down a path that you shouldn't go, because karma is going to come back and bite you. And a lot of you are going to say, I do know what karma is, because it is. You sit there and faking it. You're only setting yourself up to being in big trouble with yourself. And it may not be in the field, but outside your life is then going to get miserable. So, like anytime me or the team, we capture something, we dive through it, and we're okay if it's not good enough. You know what I mean? It's okay. Have no problem throwing something out, and we don't feel bad about it. I mean, it's like there's been times it's like, we thought we had something and we're all excited. We're like, yes, we really got it. And then we all like, oh no. And then we didn't think about one thing, and then we're just like, well, guess that didn't work out. So, back to trying some more, and that's okay. But that's what I say. Anytime anybody captures anything, always keep it, like a grain of salt. What happens a couple years ago? Remember when I was doing the movie, helping out behind the scenes with Never Blink? Uh, you know, that photo of that lady in that one scene when I was taking photos of my fabulous fogging job, and the light and the way it was, just had those rays of light, and to have that elderly lady in the background, I mean, to me, even looking at that for the first time, I would not be surprised if people would be that could call it fake. But I remember taking it, and that's the thing that's hard, and I think that's why there's arguments a lot, is that when you're not there and you don't get to see and experience that moment, which is why I had multiple photos. I even, for fun, I would take multiple photos. I'm such in a routine of doing that where I take at least 3 photos before I move the camera. And that helps a lot with, beating back on the skeptics a little bit, but that's the thing, is that truly, that face of that elderly is so clearly defined. And we were the only 2 people in that room were maskless, and the rest of us had masks on, and there was no elderly ladies there at all. And to have that photo stick out, that is my best photo I've ever captured personally. And I get it. I know people are gonna not think so, and they're gonna think I faked it. But that's the thing, is why I have those other photos. And even then, I've showed a skeptic once. I said, "Look, I'm gonna tap this button. If it's a doctored photo, it's gonna say revert back. And when I hit it and it doesn't say revert, that is a straight up one shot pick." I mean, granted, there was multiple of them, but oh, Jen, have a good one. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great one. But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing about it. It's difficult to sell it. And why don't I post it? Because I just don't want the drama. I'm glad to show people, I've shown it on the show once. And I do it in person. It's a favorite photo of mine. And I actually favored all 3 photos, the ones that aren't in the shot and the one that it is. So, but that's the thing, is it's difficult to prove to a lot of people that there is. And the thing is it's not our job to prove it. It's to experience it for ourselves. We know, anybody that's ever done this knows what the paranormal is about. I can't tell you that paranormal is real. I would rather take you with me and go on a ghost investigation in the hopes that you'll experience something unusual to where at least opens you up a little bit more. And that's, I think, what sells it better, is that I I can't show you all this stuff, because you don't know, you weren't there. But if we go on something together and we get to experience something, how awesome is that? I mean, that's granted, I'm still going to be completely open. I'm not going to guarantee that it's going to happen, but at least we get to spend some time. We can walk around in the dark a little bit, maybe check out, a true location that does have activity. But that's it. I'd rather take skeptics and at least hope that they'll be open enough to be a part of it, because that's the hard thing to deal with. So I know I missed a bunch because I was on a good roll there. So let me back up a hair. Uh, let's see. Justin was saying, Adam, what about you? Have you been feeling at work in your old building? Okay, we'll talk about that, Jay. Because we got a little bit of time. I thought one time I was wrong, but I found out I was right. My dad's saying that. Debbie, it's been crazy lately. The divided hit the community. Absolutely, Debbie. Yep. Just like I was talking about that. I'll show you my photos, but you have to get a ticket and pay real money, right? Carmen, San Diego. Justin saying, I love the basement, the old mill, one of my favorite spots. It is for a lot of people. Adam needs to get his wife to go down to the basement and see what happens. And Marie and her meet. Yep. That's true. About the pictures. Margaret's definitely got some photos that are very, very unique. I do that too. I take like 6 photos in the same spot before moving the camera. That's what Debbie was saying. Absolutely. At least 3. You got to take at least 3. And even then, when all the photos I take with, for you guys, to share to you guys on my post, all the sky pics or anything else, I take multiples. I take multiples. And what I do is I look at them all and make sure see if there's any one that's maybe a little bit better, or maybe one's a little. I always try to see if there's something better, and then I delete it and get rid of it. So even for fun nature pics, I'm taking multiples. It's just a habit, and it's a great idea to do too, especially in the digital world where you know you're not wasting actual film. Take multiples. Believe me, it's well worth it. Because it's easy to delete. It's not easy to go back and try to take that picture again because you're not probably going to be able to. So, let's see what we got. I'll go, but I'm not holding any hands with you. Got it. If I go now, you'll need to push me in a wheelchair, right, Jay? I would love to go on a hunt, but scared of bringing negative energy. Well, Kate, and I've talked about on the show, and I won't dive into it, big time. But Kate, the thing I tell people, everybody, especially when we get people that come to the mill, and I'm just saying the mill, I've been at other locations too. Anybody that feels that way, right there, Kate, that's the thing that what you just did was you opened up a door by saying that. I'm scared of bringing something home with me. That ready is a flag. You can't think that way. And any of you, and this is always that's why it's nice to keep coming back to these things. If you are going to sit there and be like, I hope something doesn't happen, you're kind of set yourself up. Okay. You're fine. But this is the mentality. This is why you have to have, your head on right. Not that we're all like, a little cockeyed, but, but truly the thing I ask people, especially when they're our old mill, I go up to them, they're like, well, I'm scared something's going to come home with me. I said, well, let me ask you this. Do you want, and Kate, this is my question. I'm going to say the same thing. So I'm looking at you, Kate. Kate, do you want to bring something home with you? Now, I will assume, being a psychic, that she's saying no right now. Geez, how did I know that? There it is. That is the attitude, Kate. Well, not me joking, but that is truly the attitude. No, I don't want anything to follow me home. And that's what you do. When you go to a location, I'm open to see what is there. I'm open to experience something. I just want to be respected. So if you're not comfortable with things touching you, you can always throw that out there. But that's what you do. You set your intentions and you're firm about it. Don't be scared. You can't be scared. If you put fear out there, that's like, like my dad and my brother here, we're sitting there, joking with each other. That's just it. When you start poking everybody, it's just going to keep going. And that's the same thing on the other side. If they know they can get to you, they're going to, and they're going to keep trying until they win. So that's why you have to be strong through it. So go, but just be like, I'm good. Nothing's going to bother me. But I'm open to experiences. If I could feel the energies, or I could feel some cold spots, or maybe I'll get lucky to see something, that is not normal, but at the same time, when you are leaving the building, hey, if there's anything around me, this is your place. You need to stay here. You are not coming home with me, period. And that's it. And you walk there. Thank you, Debbie. That's it. You literally just, everything stays at the door, and then you walk outside, take a couple deep breaths, and then go to your vehicle. I mean, it seems simple, but it really is. It is truly, it is all about what your intentions, even like what Debbie said, it is a boundary. You are putting the foot down, not in an anger way, but just in a firm way of where that's the first aspect of protection at any type of location, because you got to remember, even going to the grocery store can be bad because you got to deal with everybody's energy. I mean, who hasn't been to a store and seen some people grumpy, or walked by somebody, even though they weren't saying it, but you were just like, man, something doesn't seem right. Okay. That's how it goes. It happens all the time, so it truly is about, put your foot down. I'm good, and to have that confidence, and that's, and the smells, there it is. You have to be strong and be open to whatever happens. Yeah. I mean, once you build up that confidence and you get to, and I'm going to say this, it's going to sound ego driven, but when you get to, some of the experiences I've had, you are comfortable because it's just, I don't even think about this stuff because it's just the way I present myself when I go to my old mill or to other locations. I'm just used to it. So I know what my beliefs are. I know what I'm doing to keep myself safe. I know the signs, and that's the thing. The more you go down this road, then you start learning things. Even you don't have to be a medium, to see the signs and to experience the signs. So, um, let's see what else we got. After investigation, I always say, "Don't follow me home." Humans are humans, no matter what form they are in. True, Joe. You need to take a shot. It's funny and that's another thing, Kate. That there's multiple people that feel is that even though they've said their piece, hey, whatever's if anything's around me, you stay. People usually will get back to their homes, get back to their hotels, and immediately take a shower, um, because they believe it in a sense of cleansing, which is that's it's true. It certainly does help people, and to know that you can literally clean off anything. Not that there's like a physical, stickiness of a ghost attached to you, but some people believe that, and it's true. Water is very cleansing, huge cleansing. It does a lot for you mentally and physically, obviously. But yeah, some people do that too. They get home and have to take a shower right away. And I'm doing that way because I'm pretty strong in what my other ways, methods, and things. But I completely commend people that do that. And if it helps them out, please do that stuff. I told the spirit that tried to attack me in my room in Ireland that I was spending the next 2 nights in my room and that we were going to be respectful to each other. You're right. Yeah, damn it. Sometimes you got to. I mean, as long as you're not doing it in a full on screaming match with them, because fear and anger is what fuels them the most. The most. So if I take a shower, well, that's why because you're made of sugar and salt, right? Sugar and spices. That's why I do that frequently after interacting with there you go, Kate. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that obviously you are doing that you could do if you were to go on a, investigation or go to a haunted location that maybe just has open day tours. Um, and that may be something to do first, Kate, is to just go to a place nearby that does that. So, but yeah, roaches breeding in there. Not really. When you wash it daily and you brush it and take care of it, it's pretty hard. Pretty hard not to have issues. So, but yeah, no, it's been great. So I mean, like I said, the paranormal is amazing, and there's a lot of cool things that happen. And like I said, it's been a great ride, and so hopefully we'll be able to see a lot more things going on in the future here. Let's see. Oh, not all. I was diplomatic about it. That was a 30-minute conversation. Oh, yeah, I get it, Debbie. Yeah, I think you and I think talked about it a little bit in messages. Kate got Jackson Old Prison tour. Okay, okay. Thanks, Betsy. I'm full of piss and vinegar, according to my girl. Well, Tanya, you know, you gotta love what our elders say, right? So, but yeah, no, it's like I said, the paranormal's been an interesting ride for a lot of stuff, and so there's a lot of cool things to still experience and learn. I mean, that's really what a lot of it is. It's learning to be able to figure out what we can do to show the rest of the world, what's going on. And this isn't, it's not a hobby for me. I don't do this for I mean, it is fun, but I don't do this just to go and do it. It's not just something I've seen on TV. It's why I'm a part of a team. It's why we host public and private, because this is just it, and I'm fortunate enough to be a part of that team, to have the old mill, to be able to do so much research in a single location, which I think is a bonus. Oh, hey, Lisa, thank you for joining from San Francisco. I know it's probably a little early for you, so, and I'm just getting ready to wrap up. So if you want to check out the show, you have to wait when it's over and back up and see the beginning. So, New Jersey ain't no afraid to go, right, Debbie? um, yeah. But yeah, no, like I said, it's I love every bit of this, and it's so much fun, so many cool people, even with some of the people that drama. But see, that's the thing, is I usually stay clear of that stuff. I don't get too involved with any of it. And people are complaining, I just kind of look the other way. As long as nobody's physically getting hurt, but if you're going to have these arguments and things, I just don't want to be a part of it. That's not how this is. It's not what the ending goal is supposed to be. Because if we're going to spend more time arguing with each other over evidence and what you got versus what we got, or you're not helping. You're not, what I mean? And that's the unfortunate thing. So I'm going to just keep doing what I'm doing, and just trying to keep the positive energy out there. And those that are positive alongside of me, we're going to have a good time, and those that are negative are, they're going to struggle a bit. So, you know, but even then, I'm all good for, open for a, open conversation, open debate. You know what I mean? But I'm going to be keeping it civilized. So I expect the same in return, because I'm not going to sit there and yell and scream and this, that, and the other. It's not going to happen. But if that's, what ends up happening, then I'm just going to walk away, because it's not worth my time. So we just got to, we got to do our best to make every effort, to be open to whatever, and even if you, like I have, you've seen stuff that's just not legit enough, you just got to let it go. You know what I mean? You just let it go, and then let them deal with it. you know, they're happy, you just got to move on. So, but I believe what I believe. If you don't believe, that's true, Dad. Yeah. So, well, it's 10:32. I'm a couple minutes over, so I am going to get out of here. Got some family things going on today, so I am going to be glued to that, and even tomorrow as well. But the cool thing is like I said, I got my vlog done early, and it is done. So I don't know. Maybe I'll get the mood to start shooting another one or something, and maybe I'll have to go an unprecedented, 2 vlogs in a, or something. I don't know. I was trying not to get into that to where it gets out of, gets into it. I don't know. I mean, I'm having so much fun shooting the vlog and stuff. And it's great that I was able to shoot everything yesterday. I thought it was going to take, Friday and then either today or tomorrow to finish it up. But I had such a good time doing it that it's just working out. So I love that. Yeah. So, but that's cool. I don't know. I got to think about it. But like I said, I don't want to get out of control to where it's, I, I know there's no way I could do a daily vlog. I'm not that, I could, well, I mean, there could be weeks that maybe I could get several in there, but that's just like, whoo wee. But I mean, who knows? If this keeps getting like this to where I keep feeling I need to keep filming, then who knows? Maybe I'll have to start doing 2 a week or something. We'll see. So cool. Let's see. Julie's saying, I wanted to hear more about what you saw at your old work building. Oh, you know what, Julie? What is it? 10:33. Okay. I'll couple more minutes. Okay. We'll do a couple minutes real quick. Sorry, Julie. You know what? I did forget about that. Um, I, you know, I don't, I'm not going to say where I don't know if I have proof. So I think I'm going to keep it covered, but, I work for a company that we're supplied to, a big company that's well known, worldwide known. And, we're on site. And so I've been in several buildings within the organization, because of my job. I'm not always I have a home building, but we go to other buildings. But I have had in multiple buildings, uh, big experiences, even at work. Now, normally at work, I'm not really turned on. That's one of my things as a medium. If I'm active, the switch is on, but I can't prevent the energies from happening. I can always still sense that, yeah, there's something going on here, but I don't know what. Is it SpaceX, right? Um, and so, I've been touched. I've felt cold spots. I've heard voices. I've seen the original, creator of the company. Um, he's actually been here multiple times. So if that gives you anything, if you know any history of this place, that would tell you where I do work. But the guy that did take this mill over and rebuild it to do what it did for a little while for them, I've seen him at his buildings, his original buildings. And so, it truly has, I mean, Julie, you'll get a crack out of this too, but, and I mentioned this the one time because it happened one week last year. I think it was last year in the springtime. So maybe about a year ago. And I was groped. I do in the morning, I do a walk, and I have to walk, which is cool. I get to get my steps and exercise in while I'm checking specific equipment. And because I do audio visual things, I do like conference room support, but I'm walking around checking all these locations for these specific systems. And And one time I'm walking and then I'm like, whoa, whoa, what's going on here? I mean, I'm walking and this is happening, you know? So, whoo, you know, that definitely got my attention. And I'm like, so, you know, you just never know when something's going to happen. But like I said, yeah, you wouldn't think. And I've had physical entities. The one real quickly before I wrap up, this was before the pandemic. This was in 2019. I remember walking. I was getting ready to do there was a conference room that was broke, so I had to wait until a certain time because there was a meeting in there, so I had to wait. But I got to the building, I go up all the escalators to the floor it was on. I'm like, well, I'm going to use the restroom before I go. But as I'm coming up the escalator, I turn down this hallway, this little short hallway between, because there was, the way it was working is that there's two hallways on the outsides of the building or floor. So the bathrooms are in the middle of everything. So, and I go, I get up to the top of the escalator, I turn the corner and I see this person in front of me. He's probably like 6, 8 feet in front of me. So not too far, but man, short hair, present day clothes, everything. I see him, he gets into the bathroom first, the door opens and shuts. As soon as I get to the door, bathroom door, it shuts. I open the door. These bathrooms here have a long, have a long walkway or hallway because it's got like 8 sinks on both sides. So you got to walk past all the sinks to get to the urinals and toilets. So I walk all the way down here. Now you would think that by me opening the door, I would have seen him right away. Or, if he got into a stall, I'd hear the door shut. Well, I get in there and I'm walking. I get to the last part, where you can either go left or right for the urinals and stuff. And I'm not seeing anybody in any of the urinals. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. So then I'm doing my business. And then I'm kind of like, where's this dude, And I realized that all the stall doors are slightly open because nobody's in them. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, so then I'm already going, okay, this is weird. So then I go back out, I'm washing my hands. And even then I'm trying to peek underneath some of the seat, the stalls. I'm like, I don't see any feet in here. Cause I thought, well, maybe he was just, didn't want to close the door because he was just doing a quick little thing. Nobody. I finish up my hands, dry them off. I go out the door and there's nothing. I'm like, but he was as clear as day. They looked 100% flesh and blood. I've never seen anything that pure. I've seen spirits, both through mediumship and both with my normal investigating eyes. And there's always some type of transparency to it. There's a little bit of, you can see through them. This was genuinely, I was looking at a human being and I still to this day could never figure that out. So that was definitely a big one for me that day. And yeah, you just can't forget that because it was real, truly real. And he wasn't there when I walked into the bathroom, like I said. And that first part where all the sinks were, that was a good 10 feet. So there was no way that I could have not seen a glimpse of him again. And it wasn't. And even then the door opened and cclosed. And that door was not light. That door you had to push. Like it was a heavy door, even though it's a bathroom door, but it was heavy. I think it was on its last leg. So bad joke. But yeah, it was a rough door and you really had to like push on it, but it was an old building. But yeah, no explanation. Like I said, he was wearing modern day clothes. So that's what threw me for a loop. So, and you just, those are the cool moments. So yeah, even at work, people can experience things. And, the company, has been around a long time, since the early 1900s. So, yep. So it's seen it. Not all those buildings were back then, but there was a couple of them that I have been to. Some of them we can't get into right now, but some of them have been around for a long time. So, but yeah, that was super cool. So yeah, a lot of fun things over there. But anyway, jeans and sandals with long. Yeah, right. Yeah. So, all right, I've gone 10 minutes over. So thanks, Julie, for reminding me. I appreciate that. Glad to share a little bit right there. And like I said, it was great. Those are hilarious. But those are the ones that just now you're investigating and research, going, what is happening? I need to know. So that's the fun part of. I love the mediumship. I love being able to do that side of it. But then if the investigator kicks in, it's like, okay, how, what, and you're trying to do the classic, figure this out because it's just not right, and not normal. So those are good. But anyway, you guys have been great. Thanks so much for a lot of you sticking around for the extra 10 minutes. So hopefully that was a little bonus for you guys. So I do appreciate it. It means a lot. So all right. Well, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna get on with the rest of the day. And yeah, let's make the best of it our weekend. I know it's cooler. It's also a little rainy, I think it's supposed to be. So, stay dry, stay warm. I will definitely be posting some stuff. Yeah, let's have a good weekend, everybody, and I will check you all very soon. So Tanya, Debbie, Kate, Julie, my dad, Betsy, and anybody else that's still watching, thank you so much for hanging in there and supporting. I love you guys a lot. So I will see you all very soon. And as always, you have been watching the Mid Morning Medium chat with Adam the Black Swamp Medium. All my love, light, and peace to each and every single one of you. Take care.